Have you ever noticed that the nicest person in the room is often the least respected? They're always there to help, always saying yes, always putting others first. And yet, somehow, they end up feeling invisible. People ask them for favors, ignore their opinions, take advantage of their kindness, and in return, they get nothing. No appreciation, no respect, no recognition for everything they give. Why does this happen? If you've ever felt like the more you give, the less you matter, this video will change everything. Today, you're going to discover, first, why being too nice actually backfires. Second, the uncomfortable psychology behind respect. And third, how to become deeply respected without becoming mean or toxic. This isn't about becoming rude. This isn't about becoming selfish. This is about understanding a hard truth that most people never learn. Let's begin. The hidden problem. Here's the thing most people get completely wrong. They think kindness and people-pleasing are the same thing. They're not even close. Kindness is a choice. People-pleasing is a compulsion. Kindness comes from strength. People-pleasing comes from fear. And here's where it gets interesting. Most nice people aren't actually kind. They're scared. They're scared of conflict, scared of being disliked, scared of disappointing others, scared of being seen as selfish. So they overcompensate. They say yes when they want to say no. They laugh at jokes that aren't funny. They agree with opinions they don't share. They apologize for things that aren't their fault. And the people around them, they feel it. They may not say it out loud. They may not even consciously realize it. But deep down, they sense something is off. Because genuine kindness feels different. When someone is truly kind, you feel safe around them. When someone is people-pleasing, you feel uncomfortable. You can't quite put your finger on it, but something doesn't feel right. And here's the brutal truth. People don't respect what they can't trust. And you can't trust someone who never tells you how they really feel. Why people stop respecting nice people? Let's get into the psychology, because this is where everything changes. The first reason is boundaries, or more accurately, the complete lack of them. When you don't have boundaries, people don't see you as generous, they see you as available, always accessible, always willing to drop everything for anyone. And human psychology does something fascinating here. When something is always available, when you can get it anytime for free with no effort, its value drops to zero. Think about it. If someone offered you water every single second of every day, you wouldn't value it. You'd take it for granted. You'd expect it. But if water was rare, if you had to earn it, if you only got it sometimes, you'd value it immensely. The same principle applies to your time, your energy, your attention, your kindness. When you give away freely to anyone who asks, you're telling the world, actually, my time doesn't matter. My energy isn't valuable. Your needs are more important than mine. And the world listens. The second reason is the fear of conflict. This is where most nice people lose all respect. They'll do anything to avoid an argument, anything to avoid tension, anything to keep the peace. But here's what they don't understand. Conflict is natural. Conflict is healthy. Conflict is how boundaries get established. When you avoid conflict, you're not keeping the peace, you're keeping the problem. And people notice. They notice that you never stand up for yourself. They notice you never push back. They notice you accept any treatment without protest. And somewhere deep in their psychology, they lose respect for you. Not because they're bad people, but because humans are wired to respect strength. And avoiding conflict doesn't look like strength. It looks like weakness. The third reason is constant approval seeking. This is a kiss of death for respect. When you constantly seek validation, when you need others to like you, when you can't handle someone being disappointed in you, you become a puppet. Other people hold the strings. They decide how you feel. They decide what you're worth. They decide whether you have a good day or a bad day. And nobody respects someone who gives away their emotional power. Think about the people you respect most. Do they ask for your approval? Do they need you to validate their choices? Do they change their behavior to make you like them? No, they do what they believe is right. They stand by their decisions. They accept that some people won't like them, And they're completely fine with that. That's what earns respect. That's what attracts people. That's what makes someone magnetic. The fourth reason is always saying yes. This one hits close to home for many people. You know the type. The person who never says no. The person who's always available. The person who takes on everyone's problems. And what happens? They get overwhelmed. They get exhausted. They get taken advantage of. And the worst part? The people who take advantage of them don't even respect them. They see them as useful. They see them as convenient. But they don't see them as someone to admire. Because admiration requires strength. It requires pushback. It requires the occasional no. The fifth reason is over-explaining. This is such a common habit among nice people. You can't say no without a 5-minute explanation. You can't disagree without justifying every detail. You can't set a boundary without apologizing for it. And here's what this communicates. I'm not sure if I have the right to say no. My reasons might not be good enough. I need to convince you that I'm allowed to have a boundary. The truth is, you don't need to explain. You don't need to justify. You don't need to convince anyone. No is a complete sentence. Not this time is enough. I'm not available is valid. The more you explain, the weaker you look. Not because explaining is bad, but because over-explaining signals insecurity. It signals that you don't trust your own decisions. And if you don't trust your decisions, why should anyone else? The sixth reason is low perceived value. This is the cumulative effect of everything we just talked about. When you lack boundaries, when you avoid conflict, when you seek approval, when you always say yes, when you over-explain, you're sending a powerful message. I'm not valuable. My needs don't matter. I'm here to serve you. And people adjust their behavior accordingly. They treat you based on the value you signal. If you signal low value, they'll treat you as low value. It's not personal. It's human nature. The seventh reason is human nature and social dynamics. This is the uncomfortable part, but we need to talk about it. Humans are social animals. We're wired to assess status, to evaluate power dynamics, to figure out where we fit in the hierarchy. And here's the hard truth. People naturally test boundaries, not because they're mean, not because they're manipulative, but because it's how they figure out what they can get away with. When you don't push back, when you accept disrespect, when you let people walk all over you, you pass the test. You prove your low status. And low status people don't get respect. They get used. Now, does that mean you should become aggressive? No. Does it mean you should become toxic? Absolutely not. But it does mean you need to understand how social dynamics work. Because once you understand the game, you can play it differently. Real life examples. Let's make this real. Because theory is nice, but stories hit differently. The workplace example. Meet Sarah. Sarah works at a marketing firm. She's smart, capable, and incredibly nice. She's the one who stays late to help colleagues. She's the one who covers shifts when someone calls in sick. She's the one who takes on extra projects without complaint. Everyone likes Sarah. Everyone appreciates Sarah. But nobody respects Sarah. Here's what happens in meetings. Sarah has amazing ideas, but when she shares them, people talk over her. They dismiss her suggestions. They act like she hasn't spoken. Then an hour later, someone else suggests the same idea, and everyone acts like it's brilliant. Sarah feels invisible. She feels frustrated, but she doesn't say anything. She doesn't want to make waves. She doesn't want to be difficult. So she stays quiet and keeps working hard. Meanwhile, her colleague David is completely different. David doesn't say yes to everything. David doesn't stay late unless it's absolutely necessary. David speaks his mind. David pushes back when he disagrees. And here's what's wild. People don't like David as much as Sarah, but they respect him. They take his opinions seriously. They don't interrupt him. They make sure he's heard. Why? Because David communicates value. He respects his own time. He stands by his opinions. He doesn't need everyone to like him. And in the professional world, that's what gets you promoted. That's what gets you opportunities. That's what gets you respect. The relationship example. Meet James and Emma. James is the perfect boyfriend. He always says yes. He always puts Emma's needs first. He never argues. He never pushes back. He's always available. But something strange is happening. Emma is losing interest. She's becoming distant. She's starting arguments over nothing. She's pulling away. James doesn't understand. He's given her everything. He's been nothing but nice. Why is she pulling away? Here's the uncomfortable truth. Emma doesn't feel safe with James. Not because James is dangerous, but because James doesn't have a backbone. When a man always agrees, when he never challenges you, when he never sets boundaries, he feels weak. And women are biologically wired to not feel attraction to weakness. It doesn't mean they want toxic men. It doesn't mean they want abusive men. But they do want a man who can lead. A man who has his own identity. A man who's not afraid to say no. James has become a doormat. And nobody feels attraction to a doormat. Emma can't explain why she's losing interest. She might even feel guilty about it. But the attraction is fading. Because respect and attraction are connected. You can't respect someone who doesn't respect themselves. And you can't be attracted to someone you don't respect. The friendship example. Mark has a group of friends. He's a nice guy in the group, always picking up the tab, always making sure everyone's okay, always going out of his way. But he's never the one they call first. He's never the one they turn to for advice. He's never the one they really admire. In fact, he's often the butt of the jokes. The one they tease because they know he won't fight back. The one they ask for favors because they know he won't say no. Mark feels like he's part of the group, but deep down, he knows he's not respected. One day, Mark tries something different. He's busy when a friend asks for help. He says no. He cancels plans because he needs time for himself. He pushes back when a friend makes a joke at his expense. Everyone's taken aback. At first, there's tension, but then something surprising happens. They start treating him differently. They start taking him seriously. They start asking for his opinion, because Mark finally signaled that he has value. He's not just there to serve them. He has his own life, his own needs, his own boundaries, and respect follows. The family example. Maria is the family caretaker. She's the one everyone calls when there's a problem. She's the one who organizes family gatherings. She's the one who takes care of aging parents. Everyone in the family appreciates Maria, but they also take her for granted. They make decisions without consulting her. They expect her to handle everything. They get annoyed if she drops the ball. Maria is exhausted. She's overwhelmed, but she doesn't complain. One day, Maria sets a boundary. She tells her siblings she can't organize the family gathering this year. She says she needs help with her parents. She stops being available 24/7. Her siblings are shocked at first. They try to guilt her. They try to make her change her mind. But Maria holds firm, and something beautiful happens. They step up. They start helping. They start appreciating her more. They start treating her like an equal instead of an unpaid caregiver. Maria discovered something powerful. When you stop overgiving, people start valuing what you give. The dating example. Alex is single and dating. He's a great guy, successful, good-looking, and incredibly nice. But he can't get a second date. His first dates are always the same. He listens attentively. He asks great questions. He pays for dinner. He's charming and polite, but something's missing. When the woman doesn't call back, Alex is confused. He was so nice. He did everything right. Here's the problem. Alex is trying too hard. He's trying to be the perfect date. He's trying to say all the right things. He's trying to make the woman like him. And women can smell it. It feels desperate. It feels needy. It feels inauthentic. Now contrast this with Chris. Chris is confident. He's respectful but not a pushover. He shares his real opinions. He has his own life and interests. He's not afraid to disagree. Women feel drawn to Chris, not because he's mean, but because he's real. He doesn't need their approval. He's already comfortable with who he is, and that comfort is magnetic. The science. Let's get into the psychology, because understanding the science makes it all make sense. Reciprocity. Humans are wired for reciprocity. When someone gives to us, we naturally want to give back. It creates balance. It creates connection. It's how relationships work. But here's where the problem starts. Reciprocity only works when the giving is balanced. If you give too much, if you give without receiving, if you give despite being taken advantage of, the balance breaks. And when the balance breaks, something interesting happens. People don't feel grateful for your giving. They feel entitled to it. They expect it. They take it for granted. Because humans adapt quickly. If you always say yes, that becomes a baseline. If you always give, that becomes the expectation. You created that dynamic. You trained them. And now you're suffering the consequences. Social status. Status matters. Not in a shallow, superficial way, but in a deep, psychological way. Humans have always had hierarchies. It's part of our evolution. It's how societies function. And status comes from perceived value. The more value you're seen to have, the higher your status. The less value you're seen to have, the lower your status. Now here's what nice people get wrong. They think being nice increases their status. They think giving more makes them more valuable. But status doesn't work that way. Status comes from scarcity, from confidence, from what you don't do as much as what you do. When you're always available, your status drops. When you always agree, your status drops. When you seek approval, your status drops. And people subconsciously know this. Scarcity. This is one of the most powerful psychological principles. Scarcity creates value. Always has. Always will. Think about it. Why is gold valuable? Because it's rare. Why is a limited edition product valuable? Because there aren't many of them. Why do people want what they can't have? Because scarcity makes it desirable. The same applies to you. When your time is scarce, it becomes valuable. When your attention is scarce, it becomes valuable. When your approval is scarce, it becomes valuable. But most nice people do the exact opposite. They flood people with their time. They give unlimited attention. They hand out approval like candy. And their value drops to zero. Not because they're not valuable, but because they don't act like they are. Boundary psychology. Boundaries are fascinating from a psychological perspective. When you set a boundary, you're doing something powerful. You're defining yourself. You're saying this is where I end and you begin. You're communicating self-respect, and people respect that. They may not like it. They may push back against it, but deep down they respect it because boundaries indicate strength. They indicate self-awareness. They indicate that you value yourself. Now, the opposite is true. When you have no boundaries, people don't see you as flexible. They see you as weak. And weakness doesn't inspire respect. It inspires pity or exploitation. Confidence perception. Here's something fascinating. Confidence and competence are perceived similarly. If you're confident, people assume you're competent. If you're hesitant, people assume you're not. This is called the confidence bias, and it affects everything. When you over-explain, when you apologize constantly, when you speak in hesitant tones, people assume you're not sure of yourself. They assume you lack competence. They treat you accordingly. But when you speak with certainty, when you hold eye contact, when you don't over-explain, people assume you know what you're doing. They assume you have value. They treat you with respect. Respect versus likability. This is crucial to understand. Respect and likability are different. You can be liked without being respected. You can be respected without being liked. And the research is clear. Being respected matters more than being liked. People who are respected get better opportunities. People who are respected get paid more. People who are respected have more influence. People who are respected are happier because respect comes from strength. Likability can come from being easy, and being easy doesn't get you anywhere. Now let's look at what famous psychologists have said. Dr. Henry Cloud wrote extensively about boundaries. He found that people without boundaries struggle with anxiety, depression, low self-esteem, burnout, resentment, because they're constantly giving more than they receive. They're constantly overextending themselves. They're constantly being taken advantage of. Meanwhile, people with healthy boundaries experience less stress, better relationships, higher self-esteem, more respect from others. The research is overwhelming. Setting boundaries makes people like you less, but respect you more. And here's the kicker. The people who get angry at your boundaries are the ones who benefited from you not having any. Think about that. When you set a boundary and someone gets angry, it's not because you're wrong. It's because they were using you, and now they can't. How to become respected. Now let's talk about solutions. Because understanding the problem is only half the battle. You need to know what to do differently. Here are practical strategies that actually work. Strategy 1, learn to say no. This is where it all starts. If you can't say no, nothing else matters. You'll continue to be taken advantage of. You'll continue to be disrespected. You'll continue to feel invisible. Here's the approach. Start small. Say no to something inconsequential. Say no to a friend who wants to grab coffee when you're busy. Say no to a colleague who asks for help when you're swamped. Notice what happens. Nothing bad. The world doesn't end. They don't hate you. They just deal with it. Then say no to something bigger. Protect your time. Protect your energy. Protect your peace. Because every time you say no to something that doesn't serve you, you're saying yes to something that does. And here's the important part. You don't need to explain. No, I can't make it. I'm not available. Not this time. That's it. No excuses. No elaborate reasons. No pleading for understanding. Just know people will adapt. Strategy 2. Set boundaries. Boundaries are the foundation of respect. You need to decide what you will and won't accept. Then you need to communicate it clearly. Here's the formula. State your boundary. Enforce your boundary. Hold the line. For example, I don't take work calls after 7 p.m. I don't lend money to friends. I don't tolerate being spoken to like that. Then, when someone violates your boundary, you follow through. I need to leave if the name-calling continues. I'm not available to help with that project. The key is consistency. If you enforce boundaries sometimes and not others, people learn to ignore them. If you enforce boundaries consistently, people learn to respect them. Strategy 3. Speak calmly. Here's a powerful tip. Calmness is strength. Loudness is weakness. When you raise your voice, you're signaling loss of control. When you stay calm, you're signaling complete control. And control is respected. Speak slowly. Speak deliberately. Pause before you speak. Don't fill silence with nervous chatter. When you speak calmly, people listen. When you speak loudly, people tune out. It's counterintuitive, but it works. Strategy 4. Stop over-explaining. This is one of the most important habits to break. When you say no, just say no. When you set a boundary, just set it. When you make a decision, just make it. You don't need to explain. You don't need to justify. You don't need to convince anyone. Here are some powerful phrases. That doesn't work for me. I'm going to pass on that. I've already made my decision. Notice how these phrases are complete. They don't invite negotiation. They don't invite debate. They're final. And finality is respected. Strategy 5. Keep promises. Respect is built on trust. Trust is built on keeping promises. So stop making promises you can't keep. Stop overcommitting. Stop saying yes when you mean no. When you say you'll do something, do it. When you say you'll be somewhere, be there. When you say something matters, act like it matters. This is so simple, but people overcomplicate it. Be reliable. Be dependable. Be someone people can count on. And don't be reliable for things you shouldn't do. Be reliable for things that matter. Be reliable for things you actually want to do. Strategy 6. Value your own time. This is a mindset shift. Your time is valuable. Your time is limited. Your time is non-renewable. So stop giving it away. When someone asks you for something, pause. Consider if you actually want to do it. Consider if it's worth your time. Consider if you're being taken advantage of. If you don't want to do it, don't do it. If you're being taken advantage of, say no. And if you do say yes, do it on your terms. Not because you feel obligated, but because you genuinely want to help. Strategy 7. Become emotionally independent. This is the big one. You need to stop needing validation from others. Your worth doesn't come from what people think of you. Your worth comes from who you are. When you're emotionally independent, you're free. You don't need everyone to like you. You don't need approval. You don't need validation. And when you don't need these things, people can't manipulate you. People can't take advantage of you. People can't control you. Emotional independence is the ultimate freedom, and it's also the ultimate attractor of respect. Because when you don't need anything from others, you become magnetic, you become powerful, you become someone people naturally respect. Strategy 8. Build quiet confidence. This is the goal. Not loud arrogance, not false bravado, not performative confidence. Quiet, grounded, unshakable self-assurance. This comes from knowing who you are, knowing what you stand for, knowing what you're capable of, knowing you'll be okay no matter what happens. Quiet confidence doesn't need to show off. It doesn't need to prove anything. It just is, and people can feel it. Strategy 9. Help others by choice, not obligation. This is a distinction that changes everything. Kindness is helping others because you want to. People-pleasing is helping others because you feel you have to. When you help by choice, you're giving from abundance. You're not attached to the outcome. You're not seeking approval. You're just being kind. When you help by obligation, you're giving from fear. You're attached to the outcome. You need approval. You feel resentful. And people feel the difference. When you help by choice, they appreciate it. When you help by obligation, they expect it. So make the shift. Help when you want to. Don't help when you don't want to. No guilt, no resentment, just choice. The mindset shift. Now we get to the heart of the matter. The mindset shift that changes everything. Kindness is strength. When you're truly kind, you're choosing to be good. You're not being good because you're scared. You're not being good because you need something. You're being good because that's who you are. People-pleasing is fear. When you're people-pleasing, you're not being kind. You're being afraid. Afraid of conflict, afraid of rejection, afraid of being seen as you really are. Let that sink in. Most nice people aren't nice. They're scared, and fear doesn't earn respect. Fear earns pity at best, contempt at worst. But true kindness is rare. True kindness is powerful. True kindness is respected. Because true kindness comes from strength. It comes from someone who knows they could be mean, but chooses not to be. Think about someone who's truly powerful. Someone who could destroy you but doesn't. Someone who has all the leverage but treats you with compassion. That's inspiring. That's admirable. That's respected. Now think about someone who's weak. Someone who can't stand up for themselves. Someone who lets people walk all over them. That's not inspiring. That's not admirable. That's not respected. Kindness is not weakness. Weakness is weakness. People-pleasing is not generosity. People-pleasing is fear. Giving is not bad. Giving without boundaries is dangerous. Here's the truth you need to understand. You can be kind and respected. You can be generous and valued. You can be helpful and appreciated. But only if you have boundaries. Only if you have standards. Only if you respect yourself. When you respect yourself, others follow. When you value yourself, others follow. It all starts with you. So, let's bring it all together. You've learned a lot today. You've learned why being too nice backfires. You've learned the psychology behind respect. You've learned how to become respected without becoming mean. But here's the most important thing. Respect starts with self-respect. You can't get others to respect you until you respect yourself. You can't get others to value you until you value yourself. You can't get others to treat you well until you treat yourself well. It all starts with you. It starts with saying no when you need to. It starts with setting boundaries. It starts with valuing your time. It starts with speaking your truth. It starts with being authentic. And yes, it might make some people uncomfortable. It might make some people angry. It might make some people leave. But the ones who stay, the ones who respect your boundaries, the ones who value who you really are, those are the people worth keeping. You don't need everyone to like you. You need to like yourself. You don't need everyone to approve of you. You need to approve of yourself. You don't need everyone to respect you. You need to respect yourself. And when you do, something magical happens. The world mirrors it back to you. So here's my challenge to you. Starting today, be kind, but stop being a doormat. Be generous, but stop being taken advantage of. Be helpful, but stop being used. Be loving, But stop being a people pleaser, because you deserve respect, not from everyone, but from the people who matter. And most importantly, from yourself. If this video changed the way you see yourself, subscribe for more psychology and self-improvement videos. We release new content every week designed to help you become the strongest, most authentic version of yourself. Drop a comment below. Which part of this video hit you the hardest? Which strategy are you going to start with? I read every comment, and I want to know your story. And if you know someone who needs to hear this message, share it with them. Because everyone deserves to be respected. Everyone deserves to have boundaries. Everyone deserves to be seen for who they really are. Thank you for watching. Take care of yourself. And remember, the nicest people in the room aren't always the ones who say yes. Sometimes they're the ones who know when to say no. See you in the next video.